Hey, welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, National Communications Authority to press ahead with a directive for telcos to deactivate all unregistered SIM cards from database. Also coming up, IMF justifies Bank of Ghana's zero financing of government's budget, describing it as crucial measure to check inflation and the country's rising debt. Plus, 7 shop owners and restaurant operators arrested over VAT infractions. We've got that report coming up. Stay with us. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us this morning. First up, National Communications Authority will press ahead with the directive for all unregistered SIM cards to be deactivated from database of telecom firms. Now, this is what Joy Business has picked up from persons close to the authority. There's more in the following report.
Joy Business is learning that the National Communications Authority's insistence has been influenced by the fact that some of these SIM card holders just don't want to take advantage of the grace period to re-register. We also understand that since the last directive from the National Communications Authority, there hasn't been any significant pickup in the re-registration process. This is despite data from the National Identification Authority indicating that a lot more persons have secured their national ID cards, which was an excuse in the past. We understand that more than 1 million subscribers could lose their lines permanently by June 1, 2023. That is, if they fail to re-register by the close of today. However, despite the enforcement of this directive, there are some SIM cards, according to the National Communications Authority, that will be excused from the process. That is, Ghanaians on official duty outside the country, as well as those that are out of the country over a certain period. Again, persons that have already kickstart or at stage 1 of the re-registration process would also be exempted. Sources say the persons to be delinked from the system of the telcos will start from June 1, 2023, and it will be carried out in phases. Some analysts are worried that the move could impact badly on the fortunes of some of the telecom operators. This is because these subscribers are the main source of their revenue.
George, I feel with that report, meanwhile, MTN Ghana has assured that subscribers whose SIM cards may be deactivated will still have access to their mobile money accounts. Salam Adadivo is Chief Executive Officer.
Your SIM will be delinked and deactivated, but as you have money on your SIM, we do have a provision in the PSSA, the Payment Systems and Services Act, on how to treat funds that have not been accessed. Essentially, it will be treated as dormant funds, and you can redeem them at some point in time with the right identification and the right processes. All of this would advise customers at the end of the exercise.
That was Chief Executive Officer of MTN Ghana, Salam Adadivo. The IMF has justified a program condition that requires zero financing of government's budget by the Bank of Ghana. Some analysts have criticized this move, insisting it's not good for a developing country that is already struggling to mobilize revenue. But President Representative of the IMF, Dr. Leandro Medina, insists it's needed to check inflation and the rising debt stock.
Zero financing of the budget by the BOG, right? Which is not zero financing period, right? Is this specific measure, and an MOU has been signed, and this is important because it's one of the measures that have been taken to fight inflation. Remember, when you talk of zero financing by BOG, it's not in a vacuum. It's in the context of inflation of beyond 50%. So sometimes some difficult decisions have to be taken. The IMF has agreed with the authorities in a way to measure the macroeconomic variables that will be used to monitoring the program. This is very important.
Dr. Leandro Medina there, he is IMF representative. Now, former Finance Minister said Tekwe has disclosed that what Ghana needs now is a comprehensive approach to managing the country's fiscal situation to help reduce the high deficits. This follows moves by government to limit the amount of debt that can't be incurred by any administration. It has therefore proposed a debt target as part of fiscal reforms under the IMF program. Mr. Tekwe tells Joy Business enforcement of the Public Management Finance Law will be a game changer.
Yes, there is a need for tightening. There is a need for tightening the rules. It's not just about debt. As I said, your debt is from borrowing, and the borrowing is from your deficit. And your deficit is from revenue minus expenditure. And this is the purpose of the Public Financial Management Act, to cover all this, in one law, which amended, the FAA, Financial Administration Act. So what we need is a comprehensive, approach to managing our fiscal, including particularly expenditure, so that we don't incur high deficits, which we have 5%, and we've exceeded it. Today we are about between 10 and 13%. So the quantification per se, is not a solution. The provisions are there. It is about the enforcement.
You had the former Finance Minister said Tekwe calling for the enforcement of the Public Financial Management Law, which he believes will be a game changer. Now, economist Dr. Patrick Isuming is warning of huge costs for the economy if government goes ahead with plans to soon commence borrowing from the international market. President Akufo-Addo, in an interaction in Qatar, signaled government's intention to turn to the international debt market now that Ghana has a program with the IMF. Now, Dr. Isuming maintains the associated costs could erode recent gains.
I was quite surprised to hear discussions about returning to the capital markets. So first of all, the document we sign on to, until we exit the program, I don't think we are allowed to take any more commercial loans. So if by going back to the capital market, we mean going back and then borrowing as we've been doing in the past, then that's just not going to happen. But frankly, we have bigger problems to worry about than thinking about returning to the capital market to borrow. The economy has real problems. We have, growth has slowed down, and even when we are growing, we are not collecting enough revenues. And the expenditure has been out of control for some time, and we struggle to get hold of that. And then the structure of the economy is fundamentally weak that we need to think about. So really, any thought that we are just going to leverage this program and then go back to the international capital market is completely out of this one.
Economist Dr. Patrick Isuming there. Now, some of the oil marketing companies will begin today start reviewing prices of petroleum products at the pumps. Their action is in line with adjustments carried out every 2 weeks. There are strong indications that prices of some of the products will be kept unchanged, whilst LPG may witness some reduction. Let's turn to the commodity market for you. This morning, crude oil dropped to $73 a barrel. Gold went up by more than $4 to open trading at $1,963 an ounce. Cocoa is trading this morning at $3,005 a ton after increasing by $14. In other news, the Ghana Revenue Authority's enforcement team has picked up 7 owners of shops and supermarkets over VAT infractions. The 7, including a Lebanese national, who were picked up, have been handed over to the CID to begin preparing their dockets for prosecution. Here's more in this report.
Today's enforcement exercise focused on shops that failed to issue VAT receipts to customers after the Ghana Revenue Authority conducted some test purchases. The enforcement unit arrested shop owners and supermarket operators and handed them over to the Police Criminal Investigations Department. Here is Head of Enforcement Unit at the GRA, Joseph Annan.
Once you fail to issue an invoice which is approved by the Commissioner General, then you've gone against the law, Section 41 of the VAT Act, which mandates all taxpayers to issue the VAT invoice at all times, or an approved invoice by the Commissioner General at all times. Once you fail to do that, then obviously you've gone against the law, and for that reason, you'll be arrested by GRA through the CID, who is seconded to GRA.
Mr. Annan has also been speaking about the form of prosecution to be meted out to the culprits.
These taxpayers have been arrested. The CID has taken over. It's taking them to the charge office for their statements to be taken, and then later they will come to our office for the preemptive assessment to be established, which they will pay immediately. And then CID will continue with their investigations, and they will build up a docket for our legal unit to continue with the process.
The operation will continue until all businesses comply with the VAT law.
Now, a visit to the fishing community of Jamestown gave 3 young fabricators an idea. What was that? The idea to create and adjust